In this video, I'm going to give you the 80-20 rule of a scrolling addiction. The 80-20 rule just states that 80% of the results, of which means to end your scrolling addiction, comes from only 20% of the effort or the things you do. And in this video, I'm going to reveal 3 of the biggest 80-20 rules that I can show you. And if you follow along with everything I tell you in this video, you can genuinely shave off 6 hours of your daily screen time. 6 hours. I'm not joking. Now, a little about me first. I'm Anthony, and I help people end their scrolling addictions because I used to have a major scrolling addiction. I used to scroll, genuinely, no joke, 8 to 12 hours every day. And I just couldn't stop. And the thing is, I remember trying out so many little different tactics. Like I tried the 5-second rule to do something else, or I try to maybe meditate a little bit. And sure, some of them helped. But the actual biggest results came from the 3 things that I'm going to tell you right now. Now, the first one seems obvious, but a lot of people lack it regardless. It's a goal, a purpose. Think of most of the times when you sit down to scroll or you just get an urge because you're bored. What's the thing that causes you to scroll? Most of the times it's boredom. Like you just aren't doing anything. It's not that you're like doing something but then you want to scroll. It's that you're not doing anything in the first place. And this sounds so simple, but guess what? If you have something to do, then automatically that means you're not scrolling. So if you just find something to do, you will have less time to scroll. That simple. But I want to go deeper with you. I want to really help you out here. A goal, my definition of a goal, is a problem or a desire in your life. So a desire could be like you want a Porsche, you want to get rich enough to buy a Porsche. That's great and all. That's an awesome desire, but it's not exactly a problem in which you're suffering from. It's like you're not going to die because you don't have a Porsche, right? A problem, on the other hand, could be that you have trouble talking with people. You want to improve your social skills. In that case, you are suffering because you're missing out on the opportunities that you could have had if you did have good social skills. So no matter which of these you choose, you either have a desire or a problem, you actually have something to work towards too. And also like a purpose, right? People talk about purpose all the time. Your goal is your purpose if you care about it. So genuinely just choose a goal that you actually care about, and automatically you'll want to go towards it, all right? Now, when you have this goal in mind, and if you're still having trouble figuring out the goal, I have one question for you. What is the biggest problem in your life right now? Or what's the thing that could give you the biggest benefit if you were to solve it? And by the way, if your answer is scrolling addiction, what's the second biggest problem in your life? And now that you have that in mind, nothing's holding you back from actually working towards it, right? You already know what's in your head. Automatically, if you just do something that makes progress towards that goal, you will reduce your scrolling addiction just by a little bit. But these next 2 are where it gets super juicy. That first one is awesome. Like it's the foundation. But now we're going to build up with number 2, a morning routine. Now, a morning routine doesn't have to be anything spectacular, like where you do a cold plunge and it takes you like 5 hours. Of course not. My morning routine is super simple. I only do 3 things. I eat breakfast, shower, and record videos. That's it. It only takes me about 2-3 hours every day. But my point is that if you have a morning routine that doesn't involve scrolling at all, that's already 2-3 hours that you can cut off of your scrolling just like that. And the reason why this is number 2 is because in your morning routine, you can actually put in something that aligns with your goal. So let's say your problem is that you're too skinny or you're too fat. Well, then a part of your morning routine could genuinely be going to the gym or even doing some meal prep for yourself. Just something that aligns with your goal that also means that you have a morning routine, meaning you have less time to scroll. And again, I'm being real with you. Nothing spectacular here. I'm not even teaching you anything new. The thing is, this is the 80-20 rule. It's obvious stuff. It's the basic stuff that actually gets the biggest results. I'm not here to give you some magic secret pill that will automatically reduce how much you scroll. Of course not. It's simple stuff. You can implement it today or even tomorrow. But all that matters is that you just implement it. There's nothing, it's either you implement it or you don't. You can't really half-ass this because it's so simple. Now, all of that is great. Just with the morning routine and actually having something to do, you can reduce your scrolling just by 2 or 3 hours, just like that. But number 3 is where it gets super juicy. Number 3 is to have a bedtime routine. Everybody talks about morning routines and how good they are, but I feel like a lot of people overlook the bedtime routine. And that's because, let's say an average day where you just scroll the whole day, right? I used to have this stuff where from the moment I woke up till 12 or even 1 a.m., I would just be scrolling, like genuinely 12 hours or even more of scrolling. The problem was that I did have a bedtime. I would have liked to go to bed at like 9 p.m., for example. But instead of going to bed at 9 p.m., I was going to bed at like 2 a.m. So that big block of time from 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. was just scrolling. But if I had had a bedtime routine earlier, that means that all the time from 9 a.m. to 2 a.m., or let's say 1 a.m., because that's when I was actually scrolling, that's what, 4 hours? If I had gone to bed at 9 p.m., I would have saved myself 4 hours of scrolling. That's what I meant at the very start of this video. You can very well shave off 6 or more hours just by having all 3 of these steps. And by the way, a bedtime routine is even simpler than a morning routine. Like you thought the morning routine was simple, just 3 things? Even better, with the bedtime routine, you literally just have to do 2 things, which I can help you out. The first thing is to have some kind of reminder system. I prefer alarms on my phone just because I basically always have my phone on me. Now, do I use my phone? Not that much, but it's always around me in some way. So I know when my wind down time is, when it's time for me to finish eating, and when it's time for me to brush my teeth and do everything with dental stuff. But having reminders is super important because it can help you snap out of relapses. Let's say you're scrolling and you're in a trance. Those alarms can save you. They're like your way out if, let's say, you do end up scrolling that day. And the second thing is to have a wind down time. So I mentioned this a little bit with the alarms, but it's really hard to go to bed when you're not sleepy, when you're not tired, when you're stimulated, right? That's why even though you could be scrolling until 2 a.m., you don't really feel tired, right? Why? It's because all of the blue light from your screen is stimulating your brain, and so you don't even feel tired, even though it's much later than you would normally go to bed at. So what you can do is to wind down, right? Have those alarms to remind yourself, and just turn off your computer, turn off your phone. Boom. Easy. And just like that, you'll go to bed earlier, which will actually reinforce number 2. You'll go to bed earlier, so you'll wake up earlier for your morning routine, which, by the way, means you'll actually feel more productive and motivated when you wake up earlier. And with all of that, you have something to do to actually fill your time with. You have a morning routine, which saves off 2-3 hours. And you have a bedtime routine, saving yourself potentially 4 hours or even more of time that you would have just spent scrolling instead of sleeping. You implement all of these, 6 hours at least. That's why I'm saying this is the 80-20 rule. 3 absolutely simple things, right? Number 1, you just ask yourself a question, figure out what you care about. Number 2, you just have something that doesn't involve scrolling and you just do it for an hour or 2 or 3. And number 3, the bedtime routine, you just go to bed on time. It's that simple. And with all of this, you will reduce your scrolling time. But if you want to completely end your scrolling addiction in 3 weeks or less, then I got you. Because I am actually running a 21-day scrolling detox. Basically, I'm just going to coach you through your scrolling addiction and help you get out of it as quickly as possible. I had to go through this journey myself, but if you want to get all of my knowledge and experience and also join one of the many clients I have right now, then you can do so by clicking the link in the description.